We are here for championship case number 12. Am I doing this the right way? Maybe it's this way, but it's for the driver of number 2, Austin Cindric. Yes, Austin Cindric's 2025 season. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see how he can advance through the playoffs, go through each race, go through each round. This is not a prediction. We do this for all 16. So if you've missed one of the first 11, you can go to the playlist and see your favorite driver. If you're a Denny Hamlin fan, Kyle Larson, if you're a Austin Dillon fan and you miss it on Friday by some chance, then there you go. There's where it will be. So let's talk about Austin Cindric's season so far. He has one win. That win came at Talladega. He currently sits 15th in the points, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 313 playoff points, 313 laps led. He does not have 313 playoff points. Oh my goodness, we would just put him to the championship 4 if that was the case. He has 8 playoff points, 313 laps led. Apologies for any confusion there. But Austin Cindric's 2025 season so far, it's been decent. Let's go into his stats for this first round. Our first round consists of Darlington, Gateway, and Bristol. Big plus for Austin Cindric. He is the defending winner of Gateway. Scored 16 stage points in this race last year, led 53 laps. Of course, passed Ryan Blaney on the last lap after Blaney ran out of fuel. But he put himself in position. Even if he didn't win, he was going to finish second. He ended up winning, of course. So Austin Cindric has always qualified well at Gateway. 2 front row starts, a 10th place start. His worst finish there is 13th. He's led 26 laps outside of that win. So Austin Cindric, Gateway is probably his best non-super speedway track. So I think that's a very promising sign. I think that they can get a lot of points in this race. I think they're going to run top 5 in this race. Penske is going to run very well, like we talked about with Logano, like we talked about with Blaney. Cindric's going to be in contention for this thing. And if he's not winning, he's finishing in the top 5 and scoring top 5 stage points. And I think that is going to make up for a potential meh run at Bristol and Darlington, because his Bristol and Darlington numbers aren't exactly great. He hasn't scored a top 10 at either of these tracks. He's only scored 3 stage points across both tracks, and that's like 13, 14 races. So to say these 2 tracks aren't his strength is an understatement. This first round's going to be tough for him, I'll admit. Now, when you go to Darlington, he only has 1 finish outside of the top 20, so that's promising. But he doesn't have a lot of playoff points. You need those playoff points to help you advance, and in the later rounds, it may come down to a win, but in this early round, they can't afford a bad finish. They can't afford a 20th. They can't afford a 25th. They can't afford a bad race. I think a top 15 might be fine. That's 6 or 7 more points potentially if you finish 13th compared to a 20th. So if they can just stay out of trouble, top 15, Bristol and Darlington, and just knock it out of the park at Gateway, they might not even have to win that race. If they can just run top 5 there, I think that'll get them through to the second round maybe. So let's say that does get them to the second round. Then we got New Hampshire, Kansas, and the Roval. Once again, Austin Cindric. These numbers are really hard to get Austin Cindric through here. We got more lack of top 10s at New Hampshire and Kansas, but he finished 4th at the Roval last year, so that's good. There's just not a lot of great numbers for Cindric so far. There's a couple of good qualifying efforts at Kansas, so that's good. You're going to need some stage points. He has scored stage points in the last 2 races at Kansas, so that's promising. He doesn't have the playoff points. He's going to need a top 10 in probably 2 of these 3 races. He's a decent road racer. He was great in the Xfinity Series, and he's cooled off a bit in Cup. But as I said, he's had some good runs. That Roval race last year, top 5 finish. I mean, simply put, if they can replicate that Roval finish, get a top 10 at Kansas, it might not even matter what happens at New Hampshire. Now, if it comes down to a must-win, I don't like his chances, but hey, it's a championship case. We got to find an argument to get him out of this round, and ultimately, I think the thing that would get him out of this round is a really good Roval and a really good Kansas, or a really good race in 2 of the 3 races. top 10s, a top 5, scoring double-digit stage points maybe in one of those races, I think that could get you through. I think that could advance you. If you have a horrific New Hampshire, like you have a mechanical failure on lap 3 and you finish last, no stage points, that might counteract anything you do in race 2 or 3. But if they can just keep it clean, like if New Hampshire doesn't go well, they finish 20th, they get a top 10 at Kansas, but then they get a top 5 again at the Roval and they score some stage points on top of it, I think they can squeak through to round 3. And then we got Vegas, Talladega, and Martinsville in the round of 8. Finally, some tracks that fit Austin Cindric. Austin Cindric has qualified really well at Vegas for some reason. Like his worst qualifying effort is 19th, and his only other qualification effort outside of the top 10 is an 11th. So for some reason, Austin Cindric qualifies really well. He won a stage back in the spring race, led 47 laps, ended up finishing that race in 6th. That's a really promising sign. That's really good that he's run good at Vegas before. However, we are to the round where a solid run doesn't get you much when you only have 8 playoff points. More than likely, it's going to take an Austin Cindric win in this round to get him to the Final Four, or 3 consecutive top 5s with a good haul of stage points. So we're really looking at where can Austin Cindric win in this round. Vegas is not a bad option. He has 2 top 10s there. As I said, the qualifying efforts have always been very good for Austin Cindric, but the points are rewarded on Sunday. So ultimately, how can Cindric win here? I think it's possible. We've seen Team Penske win here multiple times in the next-gen car. However, it's been with Joey Logano. Now, Blaney's had some good runs. As I said, Cindric himself has had some good runs, but 6th place, and yes, there's that stage win in there, but that was stage 1. He ended up not scoring stage points in stage 2. But I think something promising for Cindric is that this year it seems like he's really picked up his intermediate track game. Kansas, he finished just outside of the top 10 in the spring. Texas, he won a stage at. So the intermediate game has improved a little bit for Austin Cindric. And as I said, the 2 stage wins, that's a promising sign. They had speed. They were up front. They put themselves in position early. It's just they couldn't quite capitalize late. And as I said, he still had a pretty decent finish at Vegas. But the ultimate chance for Austin Cindric to win his way into the Final Four is Talladega. I don't think anyone's questioning that. Team Penske at the super speedways is elite. They're arguably the best team in the garage at these super speedway races. They always qualify up front, sweep the front row, sweep the front 2 rows, whatever it may be, lead a ton of laps, win stages, but their biggest problem is they find a way to get involved in the big one. They find a way to get involved in wrecks late, and then they hand the win to someone else. Someone else passes them on a late race. Something happens where a Team Penske car is not in victory lane. Now, we saw Cindric win at Talladega earlier this year. That was a situation where everything worked right. He led a ton of laps in that late race, or I guess he only led 7, but Team Penske led some laps in that race, and he was able to capitalize. He was able to step up when it mattered in those last few laps, whereas the last couple of years, Team Penske really hasn't. They lead a ton of laps. They win all the stages. They do so much, but the end results are like a 30, like last fall. Cindric wins stage 2, scored stage points in stage 1, leads 29 laps, finishes 32nd because he got involved in a wreck. Ultimately, if he has a mediocre Vegas race, he doesn't have an elite Vegas race, they don't score a top 5, they don't score a lot of stage points, they're already below the cutoff line, they may just come into this race knowing it's a must win. And they may approach it like that. Like, if we don't win, we might as well die trying. Now, figuratively, like checkers or wreckers or whatever you want to say. But I think ultimately it's going to come down to Cindric winning Talladega. His Martinsville numbers aren't terrible. He had a top 5 in the fall race last year. He had a top 10 in the fall race of 2023. So the fall races have treated him well the last couple. But as I said, it's ultimately going to come down to Talladega if Austin Cindric makes that round of 8. And if he does, hey, he's got a great shot at winning Talladega. I think he's going to be one of the favorites, as will all the other Team Penske cars of Blaney, Logano, and the satellite car of Josh Berry. And then when it comes to Phoenix, Team Penske's won the last 3 Phoenix fall races, or they've won the last 3 Phoenix championships with Logano, Blaney, and Logano. Cindric's the only one who has not won a championship for Team Penske in the next-gen car at Phoenix. Now, ironically enough, Cindric does not have a top 10 at Phoenix, despite Team Penske's dominance at this track. And it depends, I would say, on who makes that Final Four. If Cindric's the only Team Penske car, obviously all that effort's going to be focused on the 2 car, and I think that's going to give them a little bit of a speed boost in a sense, and I think they're going to have a great shot. Team Penske's the favorite for a reason, and if Cindric shows up there, he may not be the favorite. If Christopher Bell's there, if William Byron's there, and if one of his teammates are there, Cindric's not going to be the favorite. But the fact that he has Team Penske on his side, the fact that Team Penske has so much success at this track, that will play to his advantage. So in conclusion, first couple of rounds, really all the rounds, it's going to be tough. That first round, the numbers do not support. But if he can put together an elite, a great, an awesome gateway race and just rack up a bunch of points there and not make a mistake at Darlington and Bristol, they could get through. Now that second round, once again, the numbers are not great, but if they can do solid at one of the races and top 5 another, they could probably get through to that third round. Third round's going to come to a must-win. Talladega is a great opportunity. Then when it comes to Phoenix, as I said, Penske and Phoenix, it's a great combination. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We have a couple more championship cases this week. Daytona coming up this weekend. That should be fun. I think there's some announcements at Daytona this weekend. It was just announced, ironically enough. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll continue with the championship cases, any other news, and then as I said, races are this weekend.